The Lakers and Knicks, to me, over the course of the year, it's not like one team's been drastically better than the other, and they're both the 3 seeds. I understand it's different conferences, but LeBron's clutch numbers and fourth quarter numbers say he deserves the award.
James inside. Maxi Kleber off the bench is 3-0. Offensive rebound, LeBron his shot. Offensive rebound, Hachimura. Here comes.
Watch the 3 here. Step back by LeBron James against.
Going to probably make Jalen Brunson win this award. That is in part because they do not have clutch numbers for defense in the clutch, where Jalen was lacking, obviously.
Clutch player. The award went to him. A chance for the lead here for the first time tonight.
You can get a quick one right here.
Brunson will make a move. The jitterbug to the rack, and he got it to go. 81% against Detroit.
Clutch player of the year is LeBron.
One thing that sets good NBA playoff basketball players apart from great NBA playoff players and all-time great NBA playoff players is how they play when the game is on the line. Want that big shot with the ball in your hands? Or would you rather pass and run from that point on? When just looking at this year's playoffs, there have been several games that the Wolves won because of clutch time play. For example, Jalen Brunson versus both Detroit and Boston. By far, Jalen Brunson is the most important player in the NBA playoffs this year.
At 105, now the Pistons are up by 7. Brunson off the window, working his way down low. Brunson off balance. How did he do it? Thompson digging in defensively. 8 seconds. Brunson stops on a dime, launches. Oh yeah!
And I think he shows pretty clearly that some players can really shine in the first 3 quarters and be great, but very few players can really shine in the fourth quarter and when it matters the most. Jalen Brunson is one of those guys, which is good news for Knicks fans. If you look at how Jalen Brunson plays, you'd think that playing in New York, which is a big market for the Knicks, he would get way too much attention and be really overrated. The truth is that it's the exact opposite. So that's another Nick Wright take on getting old very badly. And looking at Knicks images, I mean, they are just so very misleading. Brunson, that picture isn't even on the list.
Clutch player of the year is LeBron. Clutch time in the league is 5 minutes, 5 points, or 5 minutes or less, 5 points.
Minutes, yeah, within 5 points.
But clutch player of the year is not exclusively how you did in clutch time.
Of course, why is that?
Clutch numbers are going to probably make Jalen Brunson win this award. That is in part because they do not have clutch numbers for defense in the clutch, where Jalen was lacking, obviously.
Nick Wright has to pick and choose which statistics to use and change them to fit his own story. When something like Brunson was definitely the most clutch player in the NBA, and more clutch than LeBron James because the numbers don't even come close. Jalen Brunson scores 5.6 points per game in crunch time, which is twice as many as LeBron James. From the field, both of which are above 50% of the time, Brunson is second. That's it for the regular season. There is still value in the numbers, but to be the best clutch player of all time, you need to make it through the playoffs. And Brunson has done all of those things and more. In this year's playoffs, he scored the first assist and had the 18th best field goal percentage, which was 15% better than LeBron James's. He also had a plus 4.4 rating, while James had a minus 4.4 rating. It's strange that these numbers haven't been brought up for someone like Nick Wright, who loves advanced statistics and numbers. Of course, why is that? The media picks which players to laud and add to their stories, while they ignore or push to the side other players. Brunson is seriously underrated, underpaid, and frankly slept on, even though he plays for New York in a big market. Again, we're looking at very important moments in the last 5 minutes of the game. Brunson has always come through in both of his series. That's not at all what LeBron James did. By ending Brunson's clutch time play right there, it makes some players better again. Guys who don't rise to the occasion fail. Brunson's game against Tatum was the perfect example of how one player can rise in the moment and fall apart under pressure. Brunson has made every big play, shot, and even assist in this series. Some fans, like Nick Wright, will say, well, the first quarter through the third quarter, it doesn't matter as much.
Brunson,
And a fantastic defender in Holiday.
now the switch. Brunson at 3. The Knicks by 3 after trailing by 20.
And he can also draw a foul.
That's a 3. Got it up.
Bring another player over.
The spin off Holiday. Inside he goes, outside in, and OB3.
Clutch player of the year is LeBron.
I know what you mean when you say that every basket and play is the same, but that's not really the case. The last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter are very different from the first 5 minutes of the first quarter. When it comes to the playoffs, having someone like Brunson who can make shots late in games is much more important than having someone like Tatum who can't really get his own shot. And if you look at fourth quarter play more generally, Brunson's play against Boston was the key to both of those comebacks. But he's been great all playoffs, scoring in crucial moments and being the best player in 2025. 10.8 points per game in the fourth quarter, which is the most in the league. With 1.5 assists in the fourth quarter, they are 11th in the league from the field, 50.8% to 28%. Very good, but even better as a guard, as he is up 341% and has a plus-minus of plus 37, which is the 7th best in the playoffs. If Brunson and the Knicks did what Jason Tatum and LeBron James did in last year's playoffs, they could have beaten the Pistons in 5 games and advanced to the first round. Instead, they're in the second round, 20 games to none, and have a strong grip on the series. And look at this Knicks team, they're very good. Karl Towns is wonderful. OG and Mail are great wings for defense. I keep thinking about how they played in the fourth quarter. Take a look at where they are in this year's playoffs. Points for every second. False third-party rate. Third is the three-point rate, and third is the plus or minus sign. It all comes down to how good the Knicks are in the fourth quarter. That's why they beat Detroit and are 2 games ahead of Boston. That's how important his big-time play is. That's the end of the video. My main point is pretty easy to understand. There are a lot of things that matter in the NBA playoffs. Good team defense, communication, coordination, all of these things count. The most important thing is to make a big play when it counts. It's clear that a go-getter like Brunson can win you games or series just by being a go-getter in the fourth quarter. For players like LeBron and Tay, their team lost a lot of games because they didn't step up when it mattered. Thanks for watching as always. I hope you liked it.